Hi everyone, this is Pleiadian Star Healer, and welcome to this week's Pleiadian Starcast. So this Starcast goes from January 3rd to January 10th. Okay, so let's begin. I'm using 3 decks this time. So I'm going to show you. I'm using Mystical Healing, I'm using the Blue Messiah, and the Cosmic reading cards. Okay. So for those who are new, I go over the main energy, opposing energy, the underlying lesson, or what the situation, the energy is trying to teach you, the decision, or what you can do towards that main energy, and then just the outcome of the overall situation, or what could you expect if you apply this kind of, from the decision and all the surrounding cards. Okay, so let's get started. So I feel like with the main energy, I'm going to go with the Cosmic first. Okay, so what is the main energy? What could we expect for the upcoming week? And we have, okay, timeout. Okay, so it feels like perhaps there's going to be a call for a timeout, or basically like standing back from situations and like analyzing things from like objectively, right? But first, before we go into that more, let's see what the opposing energy first, so we can get a good idea of what's happening and why we're going to need like this timeout. So what is the opposing energy to the timeout? And we have access clear thinking. Okay, so now we know why, right? So it seems like there's going to be like a fogginess going around, a lot of issues. I mean, because if you look at the card, you see how there's like fog happening and you can't really see like things clearly, like all that. So definitely we're going to want to take a time out to think clearly. So perhaps I feel like there's going to be a situation that's going to come through, or it's going to be, I feel like a decision you're going to have to make, and you're going to need to, and you're going to feel kind of clouded and like you're not too sure. So in order to access that clear thinking, you're definitely going to need a timeout and to connect yourself with source, because if you see, we have like the tree of life, right? And we know that it's like Earth, Mother Gaia, you, and then like the cosmos or the source, and whatnot. So definitely there's going to be like need of like some stability, and I feel like also like for those who, because since like the New Year's is going into like full moon in Cancer, and there's like a lot of family issues coming up, and triggers, and like father and mother wounds. So definitely it might throw us off a little, and we're going to need to think a little bit more clearly, or at least to step back to assess the situation and really get clear on where we're going and how we're going to handle certain situations. And I do feel like also this pertains to like the future, like getting clear about what it is that you want to do. And you know how like in the New Year's we always have like the New Year resolution and like goals and stuff. So I do feel like there's going to be a need for that, to like set goals and really try to stick with them. And I do feel like when people set resolutions, they do it such in a big way, and they forget that there's like tiny steps that go in between. And usually that's why New Year resolutions fail, because they do like the big goal, but they don't really count in like the small goals that you're going to need to take to get there. So I feel like definitely to access some really clear thinking, you're going to have to do like really small goals to get to the big goal. Okay, I do feel like there's going to be like situations that are going to make you confused, or sort of like there's like going to be some type of obstacle that's going to make you feel foggy, you're not too sure. But that's where the timeout comes, where you take a step back and you try to find the solution, then really focus on the problem. Okay, so what is this energy is trying to teach us? So I'm going to use the same deck again. So what are these two, the main energy trying to teach us? And we have, okay, you have support. So I feel perhaps like one, which is, I feel like it's rare that we are our own supporters. We have to know how to rely on ourselves too. Although we are creatures of connection and we're supposed to be connected with others and build connections. But for those who have trouble connecting with others and feel like that disconnect or alone, you know, first you have to give yourself that type of stability, that type of support to be able to support yourself. And I feel like it attracts those who will also support you in turn, you know, because although connections are amazing, we also need to learn how to be self-sufficient and how to support ourselves and how to get to what we need to get to on our own and come up with our own answers to our questions, you know, because of course, you know, outside guidance is always wonderful. But we also need to get into the practice of getting our own answers, because we cannot always depend on outside source, because at the end of the day, we know ourselves better than anyone, and better than anyone who you go to ask questions for, you know. So I'm going to use this too for the underlying lesson. So what is it trying to teach us? What are these energies trying to teach us? Let's see here. And it's trying to teach us, okay, see, meditation again. Knowing when to like retreat, you know, knowing when to say, you know what, and as it says, like time out, knowing when to take that time out and really knowing when to step back and be objective and go more inward and really access like that inner wisdom, like to give yourself that support. I do feel like meditative practices also provide some type of support, because it gives you like that grounding and also leads you to answers to your questions. Either it comes up through feelings or thoughts or through synchronicities, you know. I do feel like when we meditate and we connect to source or, you know, any deity or whatever, is that within that connection that we allow them to show us, you know, the signs and symbols, and we're able to follow those synchronicities and connect the dots, right? Okay. So what decision or what you can do to help the situation? So you know what? I'm going to see. I'm going to use this. What decision could you use? Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, you see? Learning from karma. So that definitely means like to learn from your experiences, that when we experience something, and especially when it tends to be like repetitive, where it's like, look, you know, it's happening again and stuff, we need to like go, okay, I've been through this before and this situation looks very similar to this one, so what am I going to do about it, you know? The same thing with us as people, you know, if we always are doing the same type of behaviors, you know, we need to be in check, you know, like to step back and say, I'm repeating the same old forms of thinking or the same behavior patterns. Okay, so definitely I feel like there's going to be, and you know, it says here like the opposition about access clear thinking. And in order to do that, you need to be in stillness, be in a meditative state, reflective state. So, and I feel like also what you can do is to start learning from your experiences. And I mean, I feel like that's what true intelligence is, as I remember my AP biology teacher saying, you know, true intelligence is applying what you learn to the future. Because if you have all access to all this information, right, and you're reading a bunch of stuff in books and stuff, you know, and then the situation arises, and then you don't apply what you've learned to the situation, it's like, what is it for then? Are you just occupying the space in your mind just because it interests you? Or you're like superficially just interests you and you're just like putting it in there in your brain, or you're putting it in there in your brain because one day you're going to use that information to help you in complicated situations. And that's what that's about, you know. And when a situation arises that it looks very similar, you know, and you see the red flags, you have to be like, wait, like, don't be blinded again by the same, you know, or like if someone is like, oh, I'm sorry, like I always say, my favorite quote is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. So like, and the reason why I was stuttering, because it caught my eye, because if you look at this person here, they have like the blindfold, right? And they have like the mask, right? So it's like, don't be blinded by people, or like what they perceive to be, what they should try to show themselves to be. So for example, there's people, you meet someone, right? Or you come up with a situation where a person shows you a certain red flag, right? And you're just like, wait a second, that reminds me of somebody. And you see it, right? But then we start doubting it, or we start like, I don't know, because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings or whatever. And then that's where it's like, where the universe is saying, haven't you learned? Haven't you learned? You know, learn from your experiences, learn from your mistakes, you know, and really put in mind and say, okay, wait, this is looking a lot like what I've been through. So, you know, and then taking those steps to access that clear thinking, as it was saying, you know, to really get out of the fog and really get clear. Because remember, we also have to keep in mind that sometimes our traumatic experiences, our negative experiences, can also cloud our judgment, and it can make us feel foggy, you understand? Because there's triggers, you know, and sometimes when we see a situation, we can jump the gun, jump to conclusions without really seeing the situation for what it is. So definitely for those both kind of circumstances, we need to take the moment to, you know, think about those things and say, okay, you know, is this really what it is, or am I being triggered? And if I'm being triggered, why? Are they displaying certain behavior patterns that remind me of something that I experienced in the past? See, the human experience is all about thinking. We have a brain for a reason. It's not just there for words, you know, it's there to be used. And they say we only use 10%. Okay, so we definitely need to use it and put it to use. And that is for thinking. That is why we're gifted with consciousness in comparison to animals and stuff. You know, that's our privilege, to have that consciousness and really think about things. So use it, think, you know, analyze situations, you know, am I being triggered? If it's yes, why? If it's no, are you okay? So why do I feel this way, or why is this person reacting that way? You know, really dissect things. And how can you do that? By being still, thinking, contemplative, not jumbling everything together, you know, because that also makes things worse. So that's why we have like the timeout, you know, instead of jumping to like reaction or to a decision, to take the moment to think about things and say, you know, I really like cons and pros of things, you know, I really see how you fit in and what is the most in alignment. You know, we need to use our discernment and to see what fits, you know, and we can take all the time we need, even if people try to make us feel like we don't. No, you have the time, so take the time. You don't have to come to a decision right away, you know, and really think things through and see how you fit. You as a puzzle piece, how do you fit in the situation, or where do you see this decision or relationship or connections go? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so now let's do the outcome. So I'm gonna I think I have to use the cosmic cards. So what is the outcome? The advice. If we learn from our karma and we support ourselves and seek out support from others, you know, and also like thinking about if you, like it says, you have support. I do feel like this also could be like if you're so used to doing things by yourself, I feel like it is time to step out of that and do reach out to other, you know, soul tribe people who are in alignment with you, and really see how you can move forward. Perhaps getting a little bit of insight from others to make a decision, you know? Like, what do people think about this situation? And then you see how that fits into your situation, so you can make the appropriate, you know, decision for yourself. Okay, so what is the outcome? And we have, okay, so we have intuition. So I feel like definitely your intuition will increase, right? Because the more analyze, like, you put into it and you really follow what is most in alignment with you, your intuition would definitely increase. And I also feel like alignment is in one of them too. See? Alignment. Wasn't I just saying that? Like, I feel like it has to do with alignment. And then we have like cosmic connection and then intuition. So you will feel connected within yourself, obviously, with the people around you. Just an overall alignment, because instead of just jumping and doing stuff because you feel rushed, you feel triggered, or just taking that moment to go, let me review this first, you know, and then see how you fit in and how the people around you fit in. Are they supportive? You know, like, you have meditation and you have support. So are they supportive of your dreams? Are they supportive of your health, of your future? You know, and if they aren't, have you been experiencing that repetitively? So like, are you truly learning from your karma? Are you really learning from your experiences? The stuff that you've been studying and the spiritual knowledge that you've been ingesting, are you actually applying it to your life? What good is the information if you're not going to use it, right? Okay, so take that time to think and let people know. Even if you need to like step away for a little bit from your friends and people you know, it's okay. You know, you can let them know, look, I'm going to take a moment because there's some stuff I need to think about and I really need to digest like how I'm going to go about it. Can I reach out to you if I do need insight, you know, like to get a little bit of feedback? And I feel like friends that are in alignment with you, they're going to be like, of course. Like, they're going to understand and not take it personal. You know, they're like, sure, of course, like, take all the time you need. And if you need anything, you need to talk, I'm here. If that can help you in any way, always, you know? So don't feel pressured by anyone. Don't feel forced by anyone. You have to make a decision. You need the time. And you can take all the time you want, you know? So, and like they say, if it's meant to be, the situation and people can wait. And if it isn't and they can't, that right there, I feel like it answers it for you, right? So just take the time you need, follow your intuition, okay? Feel everything. The human experience is about living and it's about feeling. Feel everything. Feel what you're supposed to do. Feel what is bothering you. Feel what is triggering you. Feel everything, because that's what we're here for. That's what makes us human, the ability to feel so many ranges of emotions. And we can't just compartmentalize all of them together. Like, just be like, oh, I only feel like anger and I only feel like this and this. Like, no, there are so many emotions. Look it up. There are so many emotions that they're connected to each other. So feel out the situation, the people involved, yourself. It sounds complicated, but you just one step at a time. Take everything one step at a time, and you will find that you will get the answers you are looking for. Okay? So that is the end of this week's Pleiadian Starcast. I hope you find it insightful. I want to take a moment to say thank you for everyone that's been subscribing to my channel. I am almost near 200 members, which is so cool. Thank you also for those who have been reaching out for my healing cosmic readings. And for those who are interested in that, it's at 2222 for now. And I go over like the shadow aspects that you need to work on like currently, and like just basically giving you the insight and guidance on how you could propel your journey on healing. Okay, so I go over, I usually do 11, 12 cards, but it can be more depending on spirit, of course, you know, on my guides. and it just goes over, you know, what you can do to live the life that you're meant to live. All right, so if you're interested, feel free to comment or shoot me a message in my email. It's pleiadianstarhealer@gmail.com, or you can reach me in Facebook at Pleiadian Star Healer, or Eliza Rose Nicolas, that's my name. So I have many forms. All right, so have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye bye.